Hey guys, StarCraft here, and well, here's the second place part of my other poll. Some of you wanted it, and some of you are going to get it. This one is definitely going to be a short one, unfortunately. But, yeah, let's get into this. Sorry, that side was more just a regular side, but, okay, elsewhere there are different types. There's the what ifs, yada yada. Well, this one is a very good what if, and it's one of the most obvious what ifs. What if baby Kal-El landed not in Kansas, but in Gotham, and was founded not by the Kents, but by the Waynes, and everything that transpired that made Batman happen to him? Yeah, you'd think, oh, well, how would that work? Well, in another person's hand, it probably wouldn't have done so well. But in J.M. DeMatteis and in the late Eduardo Barreto's hands, it ends up being very clever, if unfortunately on the short side. There are some flaws in here, mostly due to the fact it's a one-shot and nothing more. But yeah, let's just start right in with the opening, which is basically you have Kal-El's little bursting matrix going through space, and it crashes instead. Like I said, instead of in Kansas, it crashes right on the outskirts of the Wayne household, as Thomas Wayne finds him and brings him over and Martha comes over, and they realize that they have a chance at a child. They name him Bruce, of course. Bruce Wayne, as we know him, would not be raised. And they and Alfred all know and realize about this, and they decide to take the ship, bring it back, and yeah. Now, one thing I like though, J.M. DeMatteis, he's really good at the psychological aspects of things, and it isn't just a simple cut and paste. In this case, Kal-El or Bruce in this version ends up a bit sheltered, probably because of how he was brought in, to the world instead of through normal birth. It was through the airship, and Martha. Yeah, Martha Wayne, two Marthas I keep forgetting. Here's what it says. I'll just read this whole thing, because from Alfred's perspective, it actually explains a lot. Martha loved the social world of life in Gotham, but she knew as clearly as Thomas did that the days of party-going and charity balls were over. Wayne Manor was their universe now. That's where they, and they alone, would raise this strange and wonderful child. She knew Thomas had his theories about what they began calling the event. He'd fill his journals with ideas about where the child had come from and why, but for her, things were far simpler. "He's my son, Alfred," she told the loyal servant, "as surely as if I'd given birth to him. He's my son, and that's all that matters." Yes, she indulged him. Without Thomas as a counterbalance, Bruce might have grown up to be the single most spoiled child on earth. But Martha also cultivated his heart, taught him respect for all people, regardless of his social class or race, nurtured him with an unconditional love that shaped his soul as surely as Thomas shaped his mind. Now, there's more to it, but basically it makes it very clear that this version of Bruce, Kal-El Bruce, it was very sheltered because of how things went. And although Martha and Thomas raised him just as well as Martha and Jonathan would have in their own way, but due to their well-offness, they were, of course, giving him slightly different, messages. Not messages, but, an upbringing. Then the day happened. They go out to the Monarch Theater to see Zorro, and just like before, he's all excited until the gunman shows up. And in this case, much like with Frank Miller, two shots, they're dead, pearls scattered. But in this case, though, first of all, one, he's about ready, and the guy is about ready to, Joe Chill, I guess, is about ready to kill him. But because it is Kal-El, Kryptonian, what happens in his emotional state? I hate you! As he blasts him right in the face. Freaked out by what he did as the killer, Joe Chill, runs off in pain till he was found dead. His face burned almost beyond recognition. They found Bruce Wayne that night just so upset, royally upset. And because of that, because of what happened, the suddenness of it with his abilities, this combined with just how everything went that night, he became a recluse. He didn't go around the world trying to learn himself because he was like, what am I? And he mentally blocks everything from happening, and he just stays at the manor as he grows up. And I love this artwork as he just gets a child and he gets older. Alfred keeps on encouraging him that he should go out, but you then see all these newspapers just keep on reminding Bruce that it's nothing but violence and death. Now, the other thing about this is that they're taking from the Tim Burton version of Gotham. You'll see even more so about that as we go on, but it also mentions how Lex Luthor is coming to Gotham 1 year after a near-fatal accident as he's come out of seclusion. We'll get to that. But yeah, it turns out Bruce has been collecting all these newspapers of everything going on, and he just feels like, why won't it stop? Then a bunch of gunmen come by to the manor ready to kill him, and they're pointing a gun at Alfred. Then they start shooting him, bullets bounce out as he then blasts one of them on with his heat vision. And then shoots another one right at the fireplace. And because of all this, he remembers that night. He remembers everything. It says now, I remember. And he also thinks, I could have saved my parents, Alfred. And then Alfred finally takes him down to the cave, reveals the journal in the ship. It's a lot smaller in this version than it's been before, but then because he basically realizes with these abilities, I can stop it from happening. And he'll take on the bats like in the cave. That he's been hidden so much of his own power that with his inactions, it could have prevented all the deaths that happened. And now he feels like, I ain't gotta do this. I gotta, do it all on my own. At last, he knows what to do. Meanwhile, the men go over to the person who hired them to go after Wayne, and he's not liking failure, kills them, and we find out it's the Joker. But yeah, we'll get to that. We then see this paramilitary guy. He's just snapped. He had been horribly abused as a child, and he repressed his anger, pushed it down deeper where it festered, but it needed expression as it finally just exploded as he's ready to shoot. And then Batman shows up in this pretty neat outfit that covers his entire face like the usual. But yeah, basically this is a Batman who, using all of his powers. Now, he's not killing anyone with his powers. Obviously, being able to keep him restrained all those years, he's kind of got an understanding of what to do. But I love this bit, of course, the old clutching onto a grenade till it blows up in his hand and just... I love that. And then he tosses the guy off the building right into the cop's arms and he flies off further. We then see that Lex Luthor is ready to make a deal to take over all of Wayne Enterprise. But that's when Bruce decided to show up saying, I don't think so, I'm coming out of seclusion. He then fires the legal firm that were trying to go along with this, and Lex basically goes off saying he moved his corporate seat to this rat-hole of a city so he could oversee all of his interests here. And basically if he's going to just let some gutless recluse, to which Bruce cuts him off saying, I'm aware of what happened with you. I would respect that you can respect my courage for trying to come out of recluse. Then one of the first things Bruce does is that he buys and brings in all of the people from the Daily Planet, which Lex had bought and shut down, including Perry White and Lois Lane, and he takes on a job as publisher of the Gotham Gazette. And he's already immediately smitten with Lois, and it's quite adorable seeing this side of Bruce Wayne. But Lex also has an interest in Lois, as they meet up, finds out that his company has already been he's already been outed in Metropolis, so he's come to Gotham to start over. But also he mentions how the accident he was in, it changed him in more ways than Lois can imagine. Then after brushing off his advances, and he knocks her out into the street where a bunch of these guys are ready to take care of her until Batman shows up and, well, takes them all out. And but of course, she snaps at him, tells him, because he's no better, he's a thug. But she's like, get the hell away from me, as he flies off. And then she meets up, and as Bruce, she goes over there and meets him and talks to him, and she even says, Bruce, what are you doing here? I like this time of night. Seems to get my best work done before the sun comes up. How about you? So she told about what happened. But he saved you. If you'd seen him, his utter disregard for human life, a man like that with such power could do so much better to the world instead of adding to its pain. And yeah, and the two fall in love right then and there. Okay, again, this is where you're starting to see the things are rushing. But then here comes the one real downside of this whole story. The next day, Lex and Luthor, clearly Lex, is storming through into the Gotham Gazette as he comes into Bruce's office and basically says, like, it's time I take my mask off, revealing he's the Joker. The chemical action, it made him into the Joker, and he's insane, but this is one of the downsides. When you do one of these, let's combine them. People didn't feel the need of, let's combine their two villains together, and Lexus the Joker just doesn't work at all. I mean, he's insane, but in a way that's not Lex, nor is it the Joker. It's like something else altogether, but not in something that was good. Especially when it's like Bruce, admit it, it's me you love. You were just dallying with that walking loaf of white bread to make me jealous. You sick son of a... Now, Lois, watch your language. After all, you're a role model for little girls all over America. What? Or, oh yeah, he has this little flying helicopter that can somehow carry his weight. Then he even says, after he explains, him getting after the mishap, the surgeons did the best they could and make him, well, what he is. I was so depressed, lost interest in my business, money, power, it all meant nothing to me. For months I sat around like a lump, eating too much and watching endless hours of television. Believe me, there's so much real fortune a man can take. Hold on. Sorry about that. But, yeah, like I said, this just doesn't work. It does feel like it's not Lex anymore, but the way the jokes are written, it's definitely not something the Joker would say either. And even his plan is basically, he's going to attack everything, use all of his resources to use tanks and everything and bring destruction to the city as a revolutionary, using everything that LexCorp money could buy. And then, then you have the Batman right there taking out of his helicopter, and oh yeah, I'm going to kill you, then rip your corpse to bloody pieces. Why, Batman, old boy, I do believe you're as far gone as I am. Am I correct in my assumption? He throws him. Yes! Lois just simply says, no. As he flies down, catches the Joker, puts him in jail. Here's the other thing. So, where is it we're going? Tahiti? Monte Carlo? Bombay? I don't get it. But then he flies in, takes care of takes a hit from a tank, and he just starts smashing everything, defeating everything, using all of his power, more like Superman would. And then, basically, Lois tells him, what he did tonight was different. No hate, no vindictiveness, not wasting his gift on terror and brutality. Instead, he could become a symbol of hope. And when he says, I don't have a meat in me to be that. And then she says, Bruce Wayne, and Batman doesn't, but Bruce Wayne does. And yeah, basically, now this was all Lois's dialogue anyway. She says, when did I realize it? Maybe not till that moment. Or maybe I knew all along. Does it really matter? No, not really. But then at the very end, they fly off, and Yep, he's Superman at the end in this hokey costume. And that's the end. Like I said, so much potential in this, but unfortunately, because it's just so dang short, 48 pages only. Yeah, 48 pages only. There's not much J.M. DeMatteis could have gotten out of all this. I wish he had more to do with it, to expand on this. Maybe make it a multi-parter or something. But instead, everything started off so well, and then they just rushed the ending so fast to get him in the costume. And this kind of set that trend that would eventually happen, where even if Superman becomes something different, you gotta rush it to make him Superman by the very end, at the very least. I mean, technically Superman Darkseid did that as well, but it still built up through it. This, it felt a little like, you understand, you know, all those powers do not fit somebody as brutal as Batman, but it does fit for Superman. So in that aspect, it makes sense. But again, it just felt too, I mean, you saw how it was. She just calls him out. Lois calls him out twice, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's now feeling all less vindictive. J.M. DeMatteis probably would have made it a lot more detailed if he had more time to work with it. But on its own, it is a very clever story. And like I said, I couldn't think of anyone else who could have done it at that time anyway, in the 90s, in 93, any better than DeMatteis. Maybe current writers, maybe could be some of the current writers or the past decade or so could have done better, but in 93, I don't think anyone could have. DeMatteis understood how to get into the minds of these characters, and yeah. So, that's Superman Speeding Bullets. So, and tune in tomorrow as Jesus, of all times for me to run out of space. Okay, anyway, as I was saying, see you tomorrow they talk about Superman, the Last Son of Earth. A 3-issue, well, 2 plus a 1-issue follow-up story done by the late great Steve Gerber to ask that big question. What if Superman came from Earth and sent to Krypton instead, and how would that play out? And what would cause such a drastic change? Well, tune in tomorrow as we find out. See you all next time. Catch you later.